Okay, let's dive into Cleopatra the Seventh Philopator, the final queen of Ptolemaic Egypt.
Right. She's so often just framed as that fatal woman, isn't she?
Exactly. The seductress, the romance figure who brought down powerful Roman men.
Mm-hmm. But that view is, well, it's incredibly limiting. It obscures the actual political operator she was.
So that's our mission for this deep dive.
Absolutely. To look past the romance, the myth, and really analyze her strategy, her intellect, her resourcefulness.
How she influenced Rome at such a critical time.
Yes. And what can we maybe learn today about ambition, influence, how to play a difficult hand?
Okay, so to get that, we need context, her beginnings. She was born, January 69 BC, daughter of Ptolemy XII Oletz.
Correct. And she inherited a kingdom that was already deeply troubled. Corrupt, losing territory, Cyprus, Cyrenaica.
It was basically an unofficial Roman protectorate by then.
Very much. So when she takes the throne, around 51 BC, she's only 17 or 18. The situation is dire. The dynasty's nearly broke.
And she runs into trouble almost immediately.
Oh, yeah. Massive opposition at court. It actually leads to her exile just a few years later when she's about 21.
So survival mode kicked in early.
Right from the start. She had to gather her own army just to fight her own brother and co-ruler, Ptolemy III. Strategy wasn't optional, it was essential.
Which brings us to that famous turning point in 48 BC, getting to Caesar.
Ah, yes, the carpet story. Or maybe it was bedding, or some kind of sack.
Aha, right. The details are maybe a bit fuzzy, possibly dramatized later.
But the core idea is sound. She needed access, bypassing her brother's forces controlling the harbor.
And she got it. Smuggled right into his chambers.
And that single move shifted everything. It wasn't just sneaking in, it was a pitch. She turned Caesar from the guy settling her family dispute into her lover, sure, but more importantly, her crucial political backer.
That really captures her whole approach, doesn't it?
I think so. It highlights her main achievement, using charisma, negotiation, soft power, basically, rather than military might. Egypt just couldn't match Rome's legions.
Plutarch mentions this, right? That she wasn't necessarily, conventionally stunning.
Exactly. He says she wasn't extremely beautiful, but her skills in conversation, her intellect, her whole manner, it just captivated people, like Caesar and later, Mark Antony.
So it was personal branding as a weapon.
You could absolutely call it that. Strategic networking at the highest level.
But you could argue that relying on personal relationships, like with Antony starting in 41 BC, was also risky.
Oh, incredibly risky. It was a high-wire act. But look what she gained initially through Antony.
Territory, right?
Yes. Chalcis, parts of the Phoenician coast, bits of Crete, even valuable timber areas near Jericho. These weren't small gifts. They were strategic assets.
And the strategy peaked with the donations of Alexandria in 34 BC.
That was the absolute high point. Antony holds this sort of mock Roman triumph in Alexandria.
A huge slap in the face to Rome.
Massive. And then he publicly declares Cleopatra queen of kings, and her children kings too.
Reginae Regum.
Precisely. She presented herself as the embodiment of Isis, the new Isis. It was a claim to an empire potentially larger than Alexander's. Pure political theater, but powerful propaganda etched onto coins even.
Okay, beyond the politics and romance, what else stands out? What's a lesson for us?
Well, I think her language skills are fascinating and relevant.
Ah, the polyglot queen. That was unusual for Greek rulers then, wasn't it?
Very unusual. Most Ptolemies didn't even bother learning Egyptian, but she reportedly spoke it fluently, plus Aramaic, Hebrew, maybe Arabic, Persian, Ethiopian.
Wow. Why? What was the strategic value?
Think about it. Direct communication. No translators needed when dealing with different subjects or foreign envoys. It builds trust, gives you nuance, lets you understand local issues directly.
So communication is power.
Definitely. Intellect translating directly into influence. And speaking of projecting power, you have anecdotes like the pearl and vinegar story.
Right. Pliny the Elder wrote about that much later. Maybe exaggerated.
Possibly. Dissolving a massively expensive pearl earring in vinegar just to win a bet with Antony about who could host the most lavish dinner.
It sounds almost theatrical.
Exactly. It shows her flair for extravagant displays, reinforcing her image of immense wealth and power. Necessary theater, perhaps.
But in the end, the theater wasn't enough. Actium happens in 31 BC.
The naval defeat, yes. After that, the end came quickly. She and Antony both committed suicide the following year, 30 BC.
And Egypt becomes just another Roman province under Octavian, Augustus.
The dynasty ends, but did she fail completely? Rome won the war, but Cleopatra arguably won the narrative war.
How so?
Her story endures. Think of the art, the plays, the operas, over 70 operas, The films, like the famous Elizabeth Taylor one, she achieved mythic status.
Not through armies, but through intellect, charisma, communication.
Precisely. Her ultimate success is maybe in becoming this enduring icon, shaped by her strategic use of everything but military force.
So, a final thought then. She mastered languages as weapons. If you were trying to build influence today, which of her reported 7 languages would you learn first? Something to think about.